Fame. For most people, it looks like a dream. Millions of fans, red carpets, luxury, influence, and your name in lights. But behind the cameras, behind the glam, lies a truth few ever see. Some of the world's most famous celebrities, people who seem to have it all, have confessed that fame wasn't a blessing, it was a curse. This is the story of what happens when the spotlight becomes a trap, and why some stars wish they'd never become famous at all. It starts with Britney Spears. In the late 90s, she was America's sweetheart, when Baby One More Time made her a pop icon overnight. But that overnight success came with an unbearable price. From the age of 16, Britney was no longer just a girl from Louisiana. She was public property. Every step she took, every outfit she wore, every relationship she had was tracked, dissected, and sold to the highest bidder. By 2007, the pressure exploded in a very public breakdown. Paparazzi followed her constantly. In one infamous moment, she shaved her head and attacked a photographer's car with an umbrella. That wasn't just a meltdown, it was a scream for help. Years later, during her conservatorship battle, Britney revealed in court that she felt like a prisoner in her own life, saying, "I've been in denial, I've been in shock, I am traumatized." She may have become a pop legend, but the fame nearly destroyed her. Then there's Jim Carrey. In the 90s, he was Hollywood's king of comedy. With hits like The Mask, Ace Ventura, and Liar Liar, he made millions laugh. But off-screen, Jim was struggling. After the tragic suicide of his ex-girlfriend Catriona White in 2015, Carrey opened up about how fame had left him feeling empty. In multiple interviews, he said, "I think everybody should get rich and famous, and do everything they ever dreamed of so they can see that it's not the answer." That line hit hard. Jim revealed that the more he achieved, the more disconnected he felt from himself. Behind the wild characters and goofy faces was a man silently asking, "Who am I without the applause?" Fame didn't spare the child stars either. Macaulay Culkin became a global sensation after Home Alone. But the world that loved Kevin McAllister didn't love the boy behind the role. By age 14, Culkin had essentially retired from acting. He later admitted in interviews that fame robbed him of a childhood. Paparazzi camped outside his home. Strangers treated him like a zoo animal. And after years of family issues and legal battles with his father, Macaulay disappeared from the spotlight altogether. Today, he's slowly re-emerged on his own terms, but he's made it clear, the fame that built him also broke him. Even megastars like Lady Gaga have spoken openly about fame's darker side. Gaga has admitted that her meteoric rise left her deeply depressed and anxious. In a 2018 interview, she confessed, "I used to wake up every day and remember I was Lady Gaga, and then I'd get depressed." At the peak of her fame, she experienced such severe mental health issues that she isolated herself from friends and family. She even said that there were times she couldn't recognize herself in the mirror. For her, fame meant losing touch with her identity. The stage lights were bright, but her inner world was growing darker by the day. Daniel Radcliffe, the face of Harry Potter, had a very similar experience. While millions of kids around the world dreamed of going to Hogwarts, Daniel was living that dream and feeling the pressure crush him. As a teenager, he turned to alcohol to cope. He admitted in interviews that during the filming of some Harry Potter movies, he was drunk. "I didn't know how to cope with the pressure," he said. "I would have a drink waiting for me in my dressing room." Fame came so fast, he never had time to develop a real sense of self outside of the boy wizard. It took years and a lot of therapy for Daniel to finally feel like a person, not a product. Fame doesn't just warp how celebrities see themselves, it changes how the world treats them. Megan Fox learned that the hard way. Once hailed as a sex symbol after Transformers, Fox was constantly objectified in the media. In a 2009 interview on Jimmy Kimmel Live, she described being sexualized by director Michael Bay at age 15. The audience laughed. Years later, she revealed just how damaging those years were to her mental health. "I felt powerless," she said. "I was in a self-imposed prison." She stepped away from Hollywood for several years to heal, saying she had to regain her soul. Her story, once mocked, has since been re-examined in the post-Me Too era as a clear case of a young woman being chewed up and spit out by the fame machine. And then there's Justin Bieber, a modern pop star who grew up in the public eye. Discovered on YouTube at 13, Bieber became a global superstar by the time he was 16. But the pressure, the lack of privacy, and the constant judgment got to him. He was arrested for DUI, caught in fights with paparazzi, and went through a very public breakdown. In 2020, he admitted in a lengthy Instagram post that fame had led him to depression, drug abuse, and suicide. suicidal thoughts. I started doing pretty heavy drugs at 19 and abused all of my relationships, he wrote. Bieber said he had everything: money, success, millions of fans, but he felt like it was all meaningless. It wasn't until he stepped away from the spotlight and focused on therapy, faith, and his marriage that he found some peace. Kristen Stewart, too, learned how brutal fame could be. After Twilight, she became one of the most photographed women in the world, and one of the most criticized. The media scrutinized everything about her: her expressions, her clothes, her love life. After her cheating scandal with director Rupert Sanders went public, she was relentlessly attacked online and in the tabloids. In interviews, Kristen admitted that she had panic attacks and struggled with extreme anxiety. "I was constantly anxious. I felt like I was on the verge of a breakdown all the time," she said. Even though she continued to act, she retreated from the Hollywood machine and now picks roles that let her live in relative privacy. You might think things are different for someone like Prince Harry. Born into royalty, raised in the public eye, he was famous before he could talk. But that fame came with emotional trauma, especially after the death of his mother, Princess Diana. In the documentary The Me You Can't See, Harry revealed that he turned to alcohol and party culture to mask his grief. The British press, relentless in their coverage, also harassed his wife Meghan Markle to a dangerous extent. In 2020, the couple made a shocking decision. They stepped down as senior royals and moved to the US. In interviews with Oprah and others, Harry made it clear they didn't leave because they wanted more attention. They left because the fame was slowly destroying their mental health. Even someone as seemingly unstoppable as Billie Eilish has struggled. At just 17, she became a global superstar, winning 5 Grammys in one night. But with the fame came criticism, online hate, and body shaming. Billie once said, "Being famous is horrible." In documentaries and interviews, she's been brutally honest about her battles with depression, suicidal thoughts, and the pressure to constantly perform. The fame didn't just change how people saw her, it changed how she saw herself. She had to go through a journey of self-discovery just to find her way back to who she really was. Fame is a fantasy, but for those who live it, it's often a trap. Behind the headlines and red carpet smiles are real people grappling with anxiety, depression, and identity loss. They have everything, and yet they're still searching for peace. These celebrities didn't fall because they were weak. They fell because the system they entered is built to use, discard, and forget. So the next time you see a viral meltdown or read a scandalous headline, remember this: fame isn't always the fairy tale we think it is. Sometimes it's the very thing that breaks you. If you found this story eye-opening, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and tap the notification bell. We've got more real stories, deep dives, and jaw-dropping truths from the world of fame and fortune coming your way. Thanks for watching, and remember, not every spotlight leads to happiness. Sometimes it just blinds you from seeing what really matters.